In your work over there, what was your focus in the tutorial sessions that you did?
I ended up, and I guess some ways accidentally, but having an emphasis in early modern Europe. My main tutorial was a general kind of an overview seminar of European history, early modern European history from the 1300s to 1700s. And then my secondary tutorial was specifically English literature from that same time period, literature and politics. And so, kind of without planning ahead of time, I ended up having that area as my kind of main focus for the fall.
So then, did it seem really different, the setup, I mean, compared to our kind of classroom model in America?
Yeah, very, very. Even in a classroom setting where you have done the reading, it's still nice to be able to just take a breather or just sit out a question that you don't feel as prepared to talk about right away.
Yeah.
But when it's one-on-one, yeah, there's absolutely no hiding. But luckily, both I had very friendly, personable tutors for both, and so that was never a problem. Some people had tutors who were far more intimidating and less giving. So it's kind of luck of the draw. But same thing with classes here. It does depend a lot on who you take it with. On the flip side of that, though, is the lecture, the lecture series that go along with the tutorials, and that was some of the most fun, is because your reading, your writing is all tied up with closely with your tutorials. There are corresponding lectures that go along for most tutorials, but there's also just kind of a wide open, very much kind of a candy shop sort of situation where you can just sit on lectures on any topic that's being offered.
What were some of the fun ones that
my most fun was I attended a lecture series on early Mesopotamian history and civilization. So looking at the Mesopotamia from about 4th century through middle of the 2nd century, 4th millennium through the middle of the 2nd millennium BC.
Huh.
And
were there a lot of people in there too?
I mean, that was a smaller one, so that was a little awkward at first because it's me and a small classroom. I was expecting to show up in a lecture hall where I could anonymously kind of just slip in the back and no one would notice. But it was about 8 people who were taking that, and then the professor right there in a small, cramped, 8-foot by 10-foot room, but lots of fun.
What did you get to do? Did you do much sort of in the downtime? Did you get to explore the area or go around Oxford itself?
I got a bike while I was there, something I would definitely recommend. Because it's a small town and you can certainly walk around easily, but having a bike makes everything that easier. That makes the mile between where you live and the library or class a 2-minute. I mean, you can cover so much ground, and you can get into the surrounding area side, which is just gorgeous.
Yeah. The river is so beautiful running through there.
And it's just also just fun, just weaving through these alleyways that are so tiny, so timeless.
Yeah, the age of it, that's the thing, I think, for Americans when you're there. It's so old that it's overwhelming.
And coming from a place like Boston, I felt like I had at least some preparation for it. I mean, I have seen buildings that are over 200-300 years old, 1 or 2 of them. But then probably the median age there of the architecture was 1800, 1700, maybe older. I'm not a good judge, but it's to be confronted by kind of history and that level of density is the entire program there is kind of run as in some ways a history program. you can specialize in English or literature or philosophy or theology, but partly maybe because the program director is a historian, but it's emphasizing this is the history and culture, and everything's kind of ultimately kind of geared to try and tie back into that, and it's a great place to do it. It was over. Kind of again helped me understand more exactly what I like so much about this part of the country in particular. But there's no comparison. I mean, that was the first time I'd really seen that's the first time I'd spent a serious amount of time in that kind of a setting.
If you were to give advice to students here, say at ENC, who were thinking about doing this program, would you have any kind of nuggets of wisdom for them, or?
I mean, the history department here itself was great preparation, so there's nothing, I wish I had done more ahead of time, or kind of felt unprepared while there, but the biggest thing is, coming in well-read on a subject matter, certainly one you're planning on taking the classes, taking your tutorials with, you're planning on doing maybe your research paper there on, helps a lot, because I mean, on a week-to-week you are busy, and already having kind of familiarity helps so much with kind of the week-to-week work.
Well, good. Thanks for talking to us about it.
No problem.